exciting is this: the sequel to easily one of the best slasher movies ever made gets yet another Blu-ray release. This time, the draw card is an upscaled to HD version of the so-called popular TV cut of the film. I say so-called because I've never seen it or lived the hype around it. It's always been the theatrical version for me, so it's a first to experience this cut of the film. Before we begin, I should detail what this review will feature. A discussion of the packaging. A discussion of the presentation of the HD version of Halloween 2. A discussion of the special features and extras on Disc 1. Discussion of the TV cut featured on Disc 2. Conversely, what this review won't cover is a critique of the film. That's been done to death, and to be honest, I like this film, but I don't love it. In-depth technical details, such as the quality of the sound formats and the video bitrate. Wrapped tightly in shrink wrap, the thicker than normal package features the standard Blu-ray disc in a hard cardboard case, with enough room for the envelope with the glossy photo cards in them. A really nice little trinket. The front of the box features a cool lenticular image of the skull and pumpkin that is reminiscent of the opening credits of the film. There's a little slip card that's stuck over the box which has all the usual back cover data, like the feature list and audio formats. But the box itself has a still image from the film of the two nurses from the hospital. Interestingly, the cover of the Blu-ray disc itself is almost exactly the same as the DVD I bought more than 20 years ago. Inside are the two discs, with the first disc placed in a floating tray that connects to the spine rather than being a two-disc case. Not a big deal, but a potential to break if you're a rough person. The 6 photo cards are a really nice touch. Printed on very glossy paper, they look like old school photos taken on a film camera that looks slightly softer than a normal photo. Disappointingly, there are no cards of Michael in the set, and in fact there is no artwork of Michael anywhere on the packaging. Not on the discs, the inside of the slip, or the back cover. It gives off a vibe that this movie is about everyone else other than him. Now, this is not the first time that Halloween 2 has been presented in high definition on Blu-ray, as is evident by the fact that the contents of the disc is identical to the 2014 Shout Factory release. In fact, it's not totally identical. ViaVision's 2024 release has included English subtitles, which were strangely absent from the 2012 and 2014 Shout Factory versions, but were in the 2011 Universal release. Unlike that release, this version omits all that BD live stuff. Thus, when it comes to the first disc, if you have any previous release, then there is nothing really new here for the movie itself. Essentially, this is the 2014 Shout Factory version, just with English subtitles. The picture is very sharp, at least to my untrained eye. I watched it via a PlayStation 5 on a 4K Samsung panel, and the only issue I could see are the usual ghosting and other post-processing crap that the PS5 adds to movie playback. Now that's not a fault of the disc, and the sound quality is also beautiful. As mentioned in the previous section, the first disc is almost identical to the 2014 Shout Factory release. This means the special features and extras are almost identical as well. These include the making of Halloween 2 documentary, the locations of Halloween 2 featurette, alternative ending and deleted scenes, trailers and radio clips, photo gallery, a commentary track with Dick Warlock, and another commentary with Rick Rosenthal and Leo Rossi. However, there is one new addition here, and that is a third commentary track from Dustin McNeil, an author of a Halloween book. When I watched the film, I tried to watch it with one of the commentaries, but found the accent and mixing of the speakers too hard to understand. Specifically, I was watching the Dick Warlock commentary, and without having a complimentary subtitle track, I gave up pretty quickly and I stuck to the 5.1 DTS MA soundtrack. Speaking of subtitles, they are the annoying type that float around the screen, attempting to line up to where the speaker is in the frame. I detest these style of subtitles, as I would prefer just a simple centered caption in the middle of the screen. Also curious why Laurie was captioned as woman in the opening sequence. I also watched the documentary and the featurette, and I really enjoyed both of them. The energy of the host of Horror's hallowed grounds came through on screen clearly, and he knew what he was talking about when giving us a tour of the shooting locations, including his humorous skit at the hospital. The behind-the-scenes documentary had its moments too, and it's good to see how the cast has aged gracefully, even though that particular documentary is more than 12 years old. With the exception of Deborah Hill, Donald Pleasance, and Mustafa Akkad, who were all deceased at the time the documentary was produced, the notable absence of John Carpenter is very disappointing. Otherwise, a pretty impressive selection of content for the first disc. Now, disc 2, on the other hand, was a disappointment, but that's for my own personal reasons. The second disc that was originally featured in Shout Factory's 2012 and 2014 release of Halloween 2 has been upgraded from a DVD disc to a Blu-ray disc, owing to the fact that for the first time, the TV cut is now presented in high definition. Well, upscaled high definition. Although if I'm being honest, the upscale effort was pretty decent. I did not watch the standard definition version of the cut, which is also on the disc, as I don't think I could have stood to watch the butchered version of this movie twice. And it really is butchered. From the death scenes heavily edited or even missing, new footage inserted to pad out the runtime, scenes shown in a jumbled order, the covering up of the nudity, the aggressive cropping of the picture to fit a 4:3 frame, which is being kept on this disc, and the albeit required redubbing of the coarse language down to something more G-rated. The TV cut feels like a different film. Gone are the horror and tension of the theatrical cut, which admittedly wasn't that strong, and in comes this late-night thriller kind of vibe to the film. I had to chuckle when the word shit was replaced with the word sugar, yet the nurse still gets upset at Leo Rossi's character for swearing. It would be comical if I didn't hear it with my own ears.
Julie said he was so creepy.
Julie's full of sugar.
He didn't escape until last night. Damn.
You don't have to swear, but
Well, she's a damn moron anyway.
every other word you say is either hell or damn.
Sorry.
I guess I just foul up all the time.
My disappointment here is with the absolute lack of subtitles. Now, as someone who watches almost every one of their movies with subtitles, and that's owing to my awful tinnitus, which has destroyed my ability to hear actors mumbling their way through movies, the lack of captions meant that I had to turn up the volume of the film really loud, which also means that I disturbed others around me who didn't want to, shockingly, listen to the remixed version of the Halloween theme song. And I don't blame them. I'm not a fan of the remixed tune either. To me, this disc is nothing else but a curiosity. A bygone era of TV cuts preserved for future generations is always a nice touch, but considering how streaming services are constantly editing content and anything they deem problematic, my fear is this TV cut ends up replacing the theatrical version in a few decades' time. I joke, it's probably going to happen in the next 5 years. All up, is ViaVision's Halloween 2 limited edition Blu-ray release worth buying? The answer is as simple as this. Are you a fan of Halloween 2 and haven't bought one of the existing Blu-ray editions? Then it's an obvious yes. Are you a fan of the TV cut and want to see it in high definition, albeit upscaled? Then yes. Do you already own a Blu-ray edition of this movie and are satisfied with it? Then it's probably not wise to purchase this one. But it is in limited supply. Each edition is numbered, so there is a collectible element to this, and the photo cards make a great additional gift if you appreciate this kind of thing. For me, I'm glad to have this in my collection alongside my almost 25-year-old Force Video budget release DVD, a clear upgrade from the mono soundtrack and standard definition, if you could call it that, picture quality. I've been the Artie Dans. You are watching Shockmania. Thank you for watching this Blu-ray disc review. I will catch you next time.